Welcome to the generational gap, where we take a topic and we discuss it between the generations. Today we have a special request, and we're going to talk about a Instagram post, which I'm going to show now.
And he was telling me about how his generation is far greater than our generation. And it was a civil conversation that we was having, but he was telling me that his generation that he grew up in had way better morals and they carried themselves different. And all of this may be true, but he looked at it as if his generation was innately more intelligent, smarter, more focused, and all these different things than the current generation, in that it was just God had just gave this generation bad luck and made us all ignorant or something. But I was explaining to him that if you look at farming and a farmer, when the farmer plants the seed and he waits and sees what type of crops is produced, and he uses the same seeds consistently over every season, and he uses the same seeds every year in and year out. And this year his crop is just horrible and it's not what it usually is. The last thing he's gonna blame is the seed itself. He'll look at the weather. He'll look at the soil. He'll look at all these different climate changes. If it was intense rain, the last thing he's gonna do is look at the seed and blame the seed for the bad crop. But the first thing we do is look at the generation. The first thing we do is look at the seed and say, oh, I guess we just got a bad crop this generation. No, it ain't got nothing to do with the crop. Who is determining our climate? Who is determining our social climate? Who determined all those things? Who is making up the soil that this new generation has to grow up in? Who is making up their environment? Who dictates their environment? That's something you got to think about. We can't just look at them as if they created their own environment. We're bypassing a lot of history that happened, and history is important. We're bypassing a lot of different things from the single parent households, and all these different things. The lack of men in the community. These things have an effect on this generation, and that is why we're acting out like we're acting out. It has nothing to do with, he was telling me, I used to walk miles to school and we used to do these different things and we were more determined than you guys were. Maybe. But if you want me to believe that if another generation was brought up in our current environment with social media or whatever it may be, that another generation would be vastly more successful because they're just superhuman. There is no superhuman. We're all human beings. We're all placed in the environment. We all adapt to our environment. Yeah, the genes are skinnier nowadays. We just adapted to the environment. It is what it is. We need to stop blaming ourselves and doing this whole generational wars and, old versus young. It has nothing to do with that. We just need to, it is what it is. We're in the current climate that it is. The generation is like it is. My generation is like it is. Instead of complaining about it, go in there and let's change it. Let's talk, let's talk it out. Let's have conversations. Because all this blaming and he did this and I would do this, it's not solving anything.
We all watched the video, and I guess we'll start off. Yes. Let me introduce the panel first. I'm sorry. We'll start with our Generation Z person, Toxic Broski.
Yo, what's poppin'?
For my broski. Yeah.
And then today's millennial is Kaze Sama.
What's going on, y'all?
And our boomer for the day is Clem.
But Clem was right smart. He appealed to her.
All right. So we all watched the video, and I guess we can start off with, even though I don't think it's important to talk about whether or not he was correct, but let's start there. We'll start with you, Dad. Do you agree or disagree with what he said?
Well, I kind of disagree, and the reason why I disagree is because I think the younger generation is a little bit smarter and more inept than we were because of the times. Their their growth and in education is more rapid than ours because of the internet, because of the electronics. So what took us years to what took us years to get, they can get it almost instant. You know, there's no library books, there's no time spent going to the library, picking up books, or trying to find in our time, trying to find a Encyclopedia Britannica to find out information because we didn't have that right at your fingertips. So now they get information so fast that I believe even at a younger age, they are way ahead of us. They were way ahead of us at the same age because of our lack of instant technology. All ours was we had to do the legwork. It was all manual. You had to go find it. So right now, what he's saying is that our generation is not necessarily smarter. We just have more life experience than they do, but they have more education, but more ability for education than we had. It took us years to get to where we just got life experience on them, and we know, like you tell anybody, I know what I experienced going through life. I don't want you to go through the same thing. So that's just like, and you being your parent, you don't want your child to do anything that you know is wrong. So it's not necessarily that they are even less than we are, but I think they're smart without a doubt.
Okay, that's a fair point. Um, Kaze, your thoughts on the video?
Um, I don't. I agree to a point. Like, well, I don't think it has to be who's better than who. But we do. I guess we have to reflect on what happens in each generation because it ain't always the same. So I guess it doesn't have to be a contest, but I mean, the people in that generation have to be accountable for what happened in that generation. I would say.
Okay. Um, Broski, do you agree or disagree?
I'm gonna have to say I agree with the guy because he definitely said facts. Like we're not gonna act the way we act without getting here some way. Like even if like we started acting like this as little kids, you forget y'all still let us act like this. Like we don't just you don't act like a specific way, and if you let it slide, we're gonna keep acting like that, you know. So I think it definitely what he said was right. I agree with him 100%.
100%. Okay. Since you agree, well, you and Kaze sorta agrees, and you completely agree.
Yes, I completely agree.
Um, so where does the responsibility for your actions fit in to
Well, we have to learn.
um
You have to teach us that. We don't just automatically know to be responsible for our actions. You know, like you got to teach us to be responsible for our actions. And at that point, if you let us grow up acting a specific way, we don't see nothing wrong with it. So even if we did know how to learn how to be responsible for our actions, we wouldn't, there's nothing wrong with it. So we're not thinking we're doing anything wrong.
Well, the only point that I agree with is that it doesn't have to be a versus. Everything else is whatever. Uh, the response, like you learning what responsible for your actions are, is something it happens as a kid, and if you haven't learned that as a kid and just blame everything else other than yourself, then that's a problem.
yes, so Car, you don't think your generation is accountable for how they turned out at all?
What part? Because I mean, it depends what you're talking about. Like my side. We're talking about the snowflakes.
Well,
No,
just in general, right? Because
no, there's no such thing as a whole like this generation. I know everybody say, "Oh, every couple years is a new." No, like this generation is literally different pieces.
well, I mean, generations are just a time frame, right? So the people who were born in your time frame, do you feel that they're not accountable? Because if that's the case, the quote unquote snowflakes that you said aren't responsible for the way they turned out.
Not, but yes, that's it's true. They're not responsible for the way it turned out. It's their parents. Their parents is the reason they act like this. It's what happens when you spoil kids.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't even know what we do wrong to make our generation so bad. Other than snowflakes, there's nothing wrong with this generation.
Okay.
That's what
That's
happens when you have a parent who sugarcoats everything for a kid and babies their kid.
What?
I see you I see you got something to add there, Dad. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Listen, you can't. You look. A parent can tell you everything you need to know. It's your decision whether you're going to follow the information they give you. If I tell you drugs are bad and don't do them, and you decide you want to try them, is that my fault or is that yours?
And it well, as of in that state, it's our fault if we do it. But don't
Okay,
forget, peer
so
pressure is a
so
real thing. Not for me, but peer pressure is a real thing for other people.
that just means you weak. If,
Exactly. I said the snowflakes.
if yeah, if I tell you you grounded and you can't go outside for 2 weeks and you sneak out the bedroom window, is that my fault or yours?
See, reject me.
I ain't no see. Just answer the question. Is
How do you
that
want
my
me to
fault
answer that?
or is that your fault?
Answer that as a responsible adult, or do you want me to answer that as my generation?
I'm just saying. You said that the parents are responsible for the way you act. No, it's not the parents that are responsible for the way you act. It is your decisions that you're responsible for how you act.
I'm saying parents are letting you get away with it. Because I tell you for a fact, if my mom told me I can't go outside, I'm gonna use real life. Always using real life. When I was told I couldn't go outside, and I snuck outside and she caught me, I got my butt whooped.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. She told you not to go outside.
Exactly.
It was your decision
Hmm.
that got your behind beat. So is
Yeah.
that her fault or is that your fault?
No. But listen, the first time is not a thing. But I'm saying late. Listen. Now the second time, if she caught me and told me to go in the house and nothing happened, and then I did it again, she told me to go in the house, nothing happened. Then I did it again, she told me to go in the house, nothing happened. That would be her fault. But
No, no, that's you taking advantage of the situation.
no, because if she would have beat my
It's
butt
your
like she did
decision.
the first
It's
time,
your decision because you know you wrong. You know you wrong. You made the choice to go out there.
that's true. That's true.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I'm sorry. Excuse me,
His
guys.
his parent came out.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm still saying. I said, how do you want me to answer? Like a mature person or like my generation? Because my generation would ask questions like, "Well, what did we do?"
Okay.
Exactly what she told you not to do.
If I did something I wasn't supposed to do, I got my butt whooped and I never did it again. But if I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did get my butt whooped a lot, but I only got it whooped like literally once a year.
Mm.
Once a year. That's how good I
That's
was.
it.
Listen, the way I started, getting my I never got a whooping. I was a terrible. Literally, a pastor told me I was a demon child. An actual pastor. They tried to do a what is that thing?
An
Exorcism.
exorcism?
Exorcism.
Literally tried to do that. Ask my mom. She listened to the podcast. They actually tried that. I
No,
was
no.
terrible, and I'm not gonna say it's my mom's fault, but I mean, in a way, it is. I'm not, no hate to my mother because I love her, but she was not as rough with me. She was soft with me. She let me have my way. She said he's speaking on the lack of discipline. We don't discipline. What did my mom say? And then we show them what they're doing.
What she say?
I don't.
Wait, stay out the please stay out the chat. Stay on task, please.
Like I was saying,
Continue your
like
point.
I was saying, I have nothing against my mom, but when I did stuff to get in trouble, she didn't whoop me. She didn't do nothing to me, and I was one of the hard-headed learners where you had to whoop my butt to make me learn. Couple years later, who stepped in the picture, and I acted up. He whooped my butt, and you know what happened? I ain't act up for the rest of that year. I did something again at the end of the year. He whooped my butt. You know what happened? I ain't act up again for the rest of that year. He whooped me literally once a year.
Okay.
You gotta. It's you
So
gotta
basically,
kids.
well, basically, what you're saying is
You gotta be
you had
sensitive to them.
no. Basically, what you're saying is you had no respect for your mom.
Don't be saying that.
That's the truth because you took advantage and you knew
I
you
did.
were wrong.
When I was younger, I did take advantage.
Broski, tell me you didn't know you were wrong.
You know what? I can be truthful. Yeah, I knew I was wrong.
Then you
But I
disrespected your
knew
mom.
nothing was. You're right. I didn't at first, and because I'm gonna be honest. When someone's nice to you, you're not gonna show someone that much respect.
No, but if you love your mom, that's a given. She gets all the respect in the world.
Growing up.
No, I don't care how old you are.
Child, I was just how I acted, and when I didn't get in trouble for it, I just thought it was okay to act like that.
Listen, being a man, being a dad, you're gonna make sure even I'll give a mother more respect than I even give myself.
I mean, I
You
do that
understand
now.
what I'm saying? Huh?
I do that now. Back when I was
But
I say younger, I'm over 10 years
listen,
ago.
you gotta understand if that part of your life where you didn't do that, that was the most stressful for her.
It was stressful for my mom. Trust
That's
me.
what I'm saying.
I know it was more stressful than anything. I don't know why she still have me, to be honest.
She should beat you now.
But she didn't. I'm glad she didn't, but I'm saying she should have. I stressed my mom out bad.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Do you guys think there's something wrong with Generation Z?
Hell yeah! Excuse my language, brother. Heck yeah!
All right. Could you explain?
I got one word for you. Technically, two. Snowflakes. That's the only thing wrong with this generation.
Ain't snowflake one word? Am I wrong?
Something wrong with Gen Z. I think the only thing that I think I'm tired of hearing from Gen Z is that they're coming up with a lot of stuff that's already been made, saying that they made it.
So it's taking
I do
credit.
say that all the time. I do say we made this all the time, but that ain't nothing wrong. That's just us trolling because we like trolling the older generation.
Well, y'all don't do no research. Y'all just say stuff.
That's the point. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to sound ignorant. We do this on purpose. We're trolling our older generation.
I guess so.
Nothing's actually wrong, but nothing's actually wrong with that. I mean, that's just us talking. Just ignore us. But I'm talking about actually what's gonna doom this world. Is that what you're referring to, villain?
Oh well, no, I'm just asking in general, like if you think anything is wrong with the current generation.
Well, nothing's wrong with the generation other than snowflakes.
What percentage of your generation do you think is your snowflake?
Oh my God, too many. The percentage is too high.
Is it over 50%? Is it the majority?
I can throw a random scientific fact and probably be right. Out of every 5 children being born, at least 3 of them are snowflakes.
Okay, so that's
You mean a guess scientific fact or an actual scientific
well,
fact?
and
That's a fact.
anecdotal.
And watch me
That's
right.
anecdotal.
Watch me right. Out of every 5 children born, 3 of them are snowflakes.
So you're
Hold on,
saying
wait.
60%?
Let me go back in my head real quick because remember I have 7 siblings. I'm gonna actually use that as an example.
Okay. Wait, are you sure you want to
I'm
put your
using my
siblings on
I'm not
blast
saying
right
their name.
now?
I'm not saying their name. I got 6 sisters.
Yeah,
They don't know
but
who I'm
like
talking.
they're your siblings, right?
I'm gonna
Like,
say which
but
one's
they can
snowflake.
figure out who they are by deduction.
Now I'm gonna figure out who's snowflakes out of 7 of us. Out of every 7 kids
Okay,
born,
I just wanted to ask if you were sure you wanted to put your siblings on blast, but you can continue if you like.
Are all you and your siblings Gen Z?
yeah, every single last one of us.
Oh, okay.
One of them is turning 21 this year, but other than that, if you don't want to count her, I'm the second oldest. So,
Gotcha.
Okay, you can continue your point. I just wanted to make sure you knew what you were doing.
I out of all 7 of us, 4 of us are is snowflakes.
You 4?
That's a pretty
Only
big
4 of
number.
us is snowflakes out of 7 of us. There's 7 kids. 4 of us are snowflakes. So out of every 7 kids, 4 kids are snowflakes. That's a new fact in science history I just put out there.
That's like 65% of y'all snowflakes.
Yes, it makes sense. We're getting weaker and weaker. I promise you, next generation, watch it go up to 90.
Well,
You ain't gonna
then
be able to
they
do nothing.
won't be snow. If they're the majority, then they can't be snowflakes, right?
All right, well then it's gonna switch the roles to toughies.
Toughies.
They're gonna try to make some type of slang against us.
Okay. Toughies. It, that doesn't even sound like an insult.
I mean, it does it because it sounds like something to do with teddy bears. But
Wait, teddy bears are tough?
no, toughies. I'm saying the word toughies sounds something like it has something to do with teddy bear.
Teddy Ruxpin.
I don't know.
I don't know if teddy bear and tough.
65% of us is snowflakes. Next year is gonna be even more.
Okay, so
I mean,
since this is a generational gap, how do y'all feel about me and Kaze's generation, the millennials?
I thought I was one of y'all at first. Actually, can y'all claim me?
Sure, why not?
Like, dang, I'm 19. Does that count?
No,
It
you're
does
not
not
quite old enough. Yeah.
Not technically, it doesn't count.
I was gonna say the oldest of us are what 37, 38 right now. So yeah, you're way behind.
I think the youngest of us right now is 25. I think it's 25. I
Yeah.
think 24 is the cutoff. Yes,
That's
24 is the oldest of the Gen Z right now.
Yeah, the youngest Gen Z from a couple sources I found was like 24, 23, 24. So yeah, you don't quite make it. But
it's not fair. I gotta get quoted with them.
so well, I guess this would be a better question for you, Dad. Like, how do you feel about our generation? Since your generation is the one that raised us.
Oh, so you put me on the spot.
Well, I'm just saying you would have a better perspective than we would have, since your generation is responsible, especially from what Kari said, for how we turned out.
You guys, see, here's the thing. Me being in the older generation, the one above you guys, his parents above you guys, will always look back favorably on you guys because you are kids. So it's hard to really assess when you got some type of bias. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like I said, I look and can say about your generation is you guys, like I said, you guys have more education than we had still, than we had growing up. And it was easier for you to get the materials you need for your education than us because we weren't that mobile. All our stuff took hours and days. So we was using. Well, I just say we had typewriters. So that'll tell you right there. So like I said, so for us, it's kind of hard to say about you guys, but as a whole, you guys right now basically are running the country. You know, you guys are in management position. You guys are basically running the country until the next generation get up to speed. Because right now, it's in your guys' hands because we're dying off. We're starting to die off. So now it's in your hands. So is it better when we had the controls and we were in our 30s and 40s? Was it better now? So if you measure it by that way, it's better now than it was in our generation because we grew up in the generation of segregation. So the things that we had to go through, you guys didn't have to go through that. You only saw it. You didn't have to go through it. So for you guys, it was better for you guys because you didn't see the racism and all that as much as we did. So you guys grew up in a generation expecting everybody to be cohesive and everything was okay.
Hmm.
We didn't have that luxury. So I can say now I don't feel that you guys are bad or you guys are not intellectual because you are. So I feel comfortable knowing that you guys are in the position you are in now, if that makes sense.
Okay. To go off of what you just said, I got a question for you, Kaze.
All right.
Um, since he said we didn't grow up with segregation, as a millennial, do you think we would have accomplished getting out of segregation like they did?
Hmm. It's kind of hard to say, I guess, because you usually act depending on how like society is at the time, and I mean, I think our generation would be a whole lot different if it was back when segregation was still going on and stuff like that. I think everything would have been a lot I don't know. I wouldn't say stricter, but it'd be a lot less mellow. I would say because growing up in late '80s, go through the '90s and stuff like that, it was more of a kind of a mellow time per se. At least as a kid, I had no wonder, no worries in the world. Uh, it had definitely been different. I think we would have got out of segregation okay, but it definitely wouldn't be just it wouldn't be the coast by that like we had going through the '90s and stuff like that.
Okay. I guess that was a poor question on my part. All right, so let me rephrase it a little bit. So hypothetically, if we were to, uh what's popular right now? The Thanos snap, right? The
All
Thanos
right.
snap and our generation swaps with the boomer generation. Do you think we could have survived that climate as we are now?
So it's just a swap, like
Yeah,
so,
like
like.
so boom, we switch places. Like so, this is hypothetical.
Mhm.
The kind of mind frame your average millennial has, poof, they're back then, right? Like poof, they're back then, and they have to, live back there. Would we have made it?
Uh, mm, probably by the skin of our teeth. Like I think it'd be rough with the mindset that the millennials have going on. Um, it'd have been rough for sure. That it's a maybe on that. I can't even give you a definite answer.
That's fair. How do you feel about it, Broski? If we took Generation Z and did the same thing, poof, back to segregation, would y'all make it out?
You said what?
If we were to take the Generation Z and do the Thanos snap, we get the wish and you swap places with boomers and you're back in segregation and Jim Crow. Do you think your generation could have survived?
Um, I think no, no, because me having a white girlfriend is automatically gonna be bad. Then me having, and then everyone we still have snowflakes. You can't tell them what to do. Then you gonna give them a bigger reason to start protesting and march. Yeah, we're not gonna survive.
You don't think so?
Oh God, no. I'm not
Okay.
gonna survive because I'm hard headed. I don't listen to nobody. I barely listen now. Do you think I'm gonna listen when we have segregation? I ain't gonna be no house slave. I ain't gonna be no field work. I ain't gonna be nothing.
Wait, house slaves? You're in the wrong generation.
Oh, that's slavery. You said segregation. Come on, like
That's
white
before
water.
Yeah, that's
before my time.
yeah, that's
You're talking about
yeah.
white
You're
water
talking
fountains, black
about
water fountains.
slavery. We're talking about Jim Crow laws. Like white only pies, white
What is
only fountains, white
Tasting
only
white only
spaces.
pies.
Yeah,
Okay,
colored
okay.
only. Yeah.
No, we still wouldn't survive. What happens if you like? What happened if me being black was to drink from a white only water fountain? What would happen?
You'll be arrested.
You either be arrested or you'll be
Or
hung
yeah,
in
and if
prison.
they don't report you, then they might just attack you, depending on the honor from the person who caught you, I guess.
I think yeah, I think that actually, honestly, I think the law would have changed a lot faster.
Hmm?
No cap, y'all kind of just went with it, just let it be. You kind of protest. But if we took my generation back in time, I promise you, in a month, we gonna change that real quick.
You
Yeah, y'all ain't gonna
no,
survive.
you misunderstand.
yeah,
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 y'all
no,
ain't
you
gonna
Is
just
that
survive.
true?
yeah, you just cemented that you wouldn't have survived because you
I
don't
said
have
we
the
wouldn't survive. There's
communication
gonna
that
have a
y'all
lot of
have
people in
now.
jail. There's gonna be a lot of people in jail and a lot of people dead. But
Yeah,
our
Only
law,
only you.
oh
Only
yeah,
your people is gonna be in jail or dead.
nah,
yeah,
nah, nah,
people.
nah. That's the thing. This generation
Oh
has
yeah.
white snowflakes too.
Oh yeah. We back then we couldn't have weapons like they have now.
Yeah, and you don't have the
We didn't figure
communications.
it
Like
out.
you can't get on Twitter and organize. There was no organization. Like the only organization was word of mouth.
They're saying like Thanos, like how you snap. They saying if you took all the people in this generation with us back to the time where segregation, like just swap like art that Clem's generation, right?
Right.
All right, so Clem came where we are, and we went to where he was. But you were alive back when segregation was going on.
I was born in 1962.
Oh my god, my
Try
granny was
try
alive.
to stay on task.
My bad.
He said, "Oh my god."
Oh,
And see, that's why our generation and race is so skewed.
my question: how long did it take for that law to get dropped, that segregation stuff to get dropped?
The civil rights
I'm about to say the whole thing.
the civil rights bill was
I'm
passed
saying,
in 1967.
I think honestly, it would have got fixed way faster. Too many people have been dying. Too many
Hmm.
people. And if you forget my generation, we have the most suicidal generation ever.
But all y'all be dead by now. Y'all have been long gone. Because you gotta realize there were no black policemen. There were no reference for blacks. You had to You had to go to the back door. You had black only hotels. You couldn't drive in certain counties at night, or you would get hung. It's a whole lot that you never saw before in your life.
You talking about
Yeah,
like
and another thing is that y'all won't have the like you know how the media lies, right? There's no platforms to debunk them, right?
we don't
There
need we
there would
would have
be
put a protest and did everything. I promise you.
no,
Trust me.
I mean they would happen in small pockets, right? But you can't you there was no communication. Like all you had was phones. Like you're not gonna call 10,000 people and 10,000 people are gonna just be able to show up. Like that wasn't a thing back then. Like
Think
it took
about it like this.
months. It took months to organize a
Think like
big
this.
wide
We would have had
scale protest.
flyers.
Like a Million Man March took forever.
We would
Yeah.
have had flyers. We'd have been giving them out for like a month in advance.
And y'all would have got arrested. I'm trying to tell you. There wouldn't have been no
It ain't
passing
as
of
simple
flyers.
as
They
you
would have
think,
shut
bro.
it down, bro.
Yeah, it's not as simple as you think
Oh,
it
we have
Like
no
is.
like so, okay,
communication. Like
you're
I said,
still thinking you're thinking as if you still have the current freedoms that you have. You don't have those freedoms. You have to do it with the freedoms you have of that time.
how did they get those people? How did they get those people when they did marches back then?
It took months of organization.
Remember, all we had was telephones and typewriters in the mail system. Ain't no emails, ain't no texting,
Who
ain't
emailed?
no
Let me
ain't
hear
no
one of my
email.
generation emailing somebody.
Well,
We
ain't
didn't
nobody
have
emailing
email.
it in either.
It was only postal mail.
That's
Yeah,
right.
a handwritten letter or type on a
Yeah.
typewriter.
Like you don't have the resources and you don't have the freedom, right? And the fact that you just think because you want it to happen, you were going to do it means you would have failed.
Immediately.
Just put it like this. We didn't get a color TV until 1977.
God dang.
All
I think.
right, well, let's move on. Okay, so do you agree that it doesn't have to be versus, right?
Yeah.
But why do you think it is a versus? Why do we compare the generations between each other so often? Do y'all think?
I think it's mostly because certain generations don't like what other generations is doing, so then it becomes a comparison.
Correct.
Because they don't like what they're doing. Or they don't like what they've become, so then it becomes a comparison. And
Well,
go ahead.
go ahead, D. Finish.
Oh, I mean that's the major. I think the major reason why people compare or try to make it seems like a generation is better than the other because they don't like what they've become or what they're doing per se.
Did you have
I,
something to add to that?
yeah, I think what I think it is resentment of the young because they have freedom that we didn't have. So the criticism comes because we didn't have the technology that they have. So a lot of that is, I can say, pretty much because jealousy, maybe, and the lifestyle, because every generation has their own saying. Because when I was coming up, doing the twist was an obscene dance. You see what I'm saying? And they'll say they was looking at us saying, "Look what they do," you know. And every generation say the same thing as it progressed. You know, as far as the freedoms that you guys have, like let's just say you guys can show skin on TV. In my time, they couldn't sleep in the bedroom with the beds together. They had to be apart. So it's different. You guys have way more freedom than we had. So when you look back, I think it's maybe a little jealousy and animosity because we not there, and then also that we can't do the things that you guys can do now. You see what I'm saying?
So is your point that the older generation sees the freedom that we have and they feel we're kind of wasting it? Is that what you mean?
Right? Like, that the old saying is, um, youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, so like you're saying, like if you had the freedoms to do what we can do now,
Woo!
you would have been more accomplished or whatever. You would have took advantage more.
Well,
Is that
yeah, I
the
mean that's basically because as you get older, you get more experience.
okay? Kari, do you got anything to add?
You said what?
I said, do you have anything to add?
Ask your question again.
Um, why do you think we are we are always having a debate of which generation is better?
I don't know honestly because we cannot compare each other. I'm not like we can't compare each other when we had way different situations going on. Like honestly, Clem's generation he has segregation. Y'all generation y'all had saggy pants and boom boxes. My generation we have we have skinny jeans. Like we have different things going on in our generation. I don't think we should compare them. We grew up different. Like what's hard for us ain't hard from y'all. Y'all came from a tougher generation. Like I said, y'all can deal with some stuff. We can't necessarily deal with some stuff. I mean, I can, but y'all can't. I mean, I can, but most of us can't. Remember, 65% of us are snowflakes now. So
Okay.
the things that y'all could deal with, like Clem, I'm pretty sure he's dealt with some racist stuff from some really racist people back then. And
Mm-hmm.
let that happen now, they getting canceled online. R.I.P. to your business. like see, like we can't handle that now. Him, like when someone says something, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you fought them, you would have got arrested.
No, I
So
threw my
like,
hands.
you said what?
I threw my hands a lot of times. Believe me.
So honestly, like I said, it's we grew up different ways. If someone said something racist, I mean, obviously, I grew up like I'm used to it because I had the rudest sister on the planet. But let's just use another person. Let's use one of the snowflakes for an example. Someone say a racist slur to them, their whole life is over until they cancel them. They can't do nothing else till they cancel them. Clem would be like, "Hey, I gotta live my life. I'm going about my day."
Nah. Not necessarily.
I'm saying you either threw hands with
He'd
them, but
cancel him in
I'm
another
saying
type of way.
you're not gonna go find you're not gonna go post them on Twitter, find out that that person have a business, and then try to shut down that person's business. You're dealing with their business is like dealing with the business right in there between y'all two. Our generation dealing with their business is going to find their business and leaving really bad reviews till they get shut down. Like we
See,
do
let me
different things.
let me just say a little difference is back in my time, we had restrictions where we couldn't go, or you couldn't be there, or you shouldn't be there, or you just couldn't go. Now you guys don't have those restrictions, or you feel you shouldn't have those restrictions. But at my time, there was no ifs, ands, and buts. If it's a white only pool, then it's a white only pool. I don't care how bad you want to get in that water, you can't get in the pool. But now you guys don't have that restriction. You guys can go anywhere you want. Well, I can too now, but growing up, I didn't have those. I had those restrictions. You guys don't have those. So seeing things change along the way is that right now you couldn't think about the struggles we had back then because we took those struggles for you. In the
Exactly.
same way, in the same way the millennials, y'all taking the struggles for them. So back while they back there footloose and fancy free, you guys are saying, man, We couldn't do that. Or what? Say it's gonna be the same all the way up because you're gonna take the brunt for the generation behind
Okay, that's a fair
I
point.
can agree with
So
that.
what do you guys think would be a more productive conversation to have than which generation is better?
you. Let's see.
I can't really, like I said, I can't say what generation's better or not because, like I said,
Well, no,
we
I
don't
mean like what is a better conversation, a more productive conversation to have instead of which generation is better?
how different our generations were.
Okay, so you're saying just talk about the
Comparing
differences?
generations is better. Like comparing generations isn't like oh you have plates. Well, we had wood bowls back in our time. Like like comparing stuff, not actually saying oh you got cell phones. You guys are so ruined by your cell phones. We didn't have that back then. We had two cups in the string. Like like I'm saying, except for negative comparing, like positive comparing is better.
I think that the older generations, the younger generations should let the older generations mentor them.
You can't mentor us.
Huh?
He says you can't mentor us.
You can't
Well,
mentor us.
them.
We don't like being told what to do.
Being a mentor don't mean I'm telling you what to do. I'm just trying to give you. I'm just trying to help you along the way because things you don't know that's out here in this world that you have no knowledge of.
No, we still don't. If it sounds like we're being told what to do, we're not gonna like it. Remember?
I guess he's saying that they're more rebellious.
Oh God, a lot more.
Mm.
I'm not really sure what's the better option as far as a topic for between generations. Like, I think it's always going to be a comparison, like whether it's good or bad, because that's just how it is. I don't think it ever will change.
Um, hmm. Okay. I guess we can move on. Um, do any of y'all agree with the part where he said it was the that the current climate, right? Was there any truth in that? I know you disagreed there, but do you feel there's any truth to being like the current climate is the way they act out now? Is the
No.
reason why they act out now?
If you're referring to what he was referring to as a clearing climate, or are you talking about like actual weather nowadays?
Oh no, not like climate change.
Are you talking about like
Social climate, social climate.
oh definitely, definitely. They gotta teach us how to act in public, or we're gonna figure it out.
But you don't like to be told what to do.
I'm talking about a young age. At a young age,
He said at a
us
okay
not
at a
wanting
young
to know
age.
what to
Okay.
do and being rebellious is because we didn't get our butts whooped when we were younger. I'm not saying
Well, I
we. I'm
mean,
the 65%
this
of America.
discipline doesn't have to be whoopings every single
Yes, it
time.
does.
It does. You
No,
think
it
so?
doesn't.
He
It
said
does.
yes.
How about this? How about this? Depending on the person, for me, a whooping was what I needed. You can't
Okay, because I
talk.
was
You
I
think
knew a
talking to me gonna help?
person. Yeah, I knew a person who whoopings didn't work. What worked was not letting him leave the house, and it drove him insane. Right?
Yeah. So
In the
you got to
membrane.
discipline
Yeah.
them. How about
So
this? You discipline them. Whichever gets them the most, that's what you got to do.
okay, so you just mean more discipline in general. They just need
Yeah.
more discipline.
Yeah. You discipline at a young age. Don't discipline a kid when they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not. It's not. I mean, it's gonna work, but it's not gonna be as effective as you would have when they were first born. Not like I'm talking about. Not like when they're like 2 months old and you whooping them. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like when they in their terrible twos, that's when you start disciplining.
Okay. What was another point he brought
You
up?
don't tell them no all the time. You got to redirect them. That's terrible too.
Okay.
Tell them
How
no.
do y'all feel about the comment he made about the single parent households?
Um,
Say
that
that again.
is more in effect today, though, and it can be caused by a plethora of things. To be honest with you, a plethora of things from spiteful individuals to people just leaving to people being in jail to a whole bunch of it's so many factors that can cause a single parent household, but it is a lot more prevalent, I think, today than it was in the generation before ours.
What's your take on that, Dad?
I'm trying to what did he say about
Oh no,
single
he
parent?
was saying we shouldn't blame the seeds, which is the generation, right? He said we
Uh-huh.
should be thinking about the soil, and then he said the social climate. He said the single parent households, the lack of men in the household. Those were just some of the examples he gave that we need to talk about instead of just comparing. So I want to know, how do you feel the fact that single parent households are way higher than they were in previous generations? Does that really affect? Do you think that's one of the reasons, or is it being over exaggerated?
Uh, I think it's being over exaggerated
Okay, could you
because
explain a little bit?
I grew up in a single parent household. It was just my mom. My dad died when I was 2 years old, so I turned out. I ain't turned out gay or crazy or anything like that. I grew up a man, so I don't understand about that. But and then on the other hand, a two-parent household structure is good because there's more stability in the home. And then that means the mother won't have to be out for work with all the kids well back when it used to be. So I mean, it's a lot of like I'm with D. It's a lot of factors that go into that, but then also the child contributes to that as well because in any given situation is your reaction to the environment you're in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you around, just say if you grew up, and I'm not using this as a anything, but just say if you grew up poor, your for you your motivation is I don't want to be poor no more. So you're gonna go out and do it, or you poor, then you woe with me. So then it depends on the child, or you can say your parents you rich, your parents are rich and got everything, they give you everything you want or whatever, but you got some that's gonna make the choice and say, hey, I can go out and help the world than people that don't have nothing. And then you can have the other side of the coin to where they're affluent, they got money, and they drug addicts, and they don't have nothing. So the environment plays a part, but again, it goes back to that key fact: the decisions you make, the choices you have. If you don't know and if you make that bad step, it's going to take a long time to recover. It's everything. Everything goes into that factor to help that, like he said, the seeds to help that seedling grow up. It takes a lot to help the seedling grow up. It ain't just the soil. You got rain. You got to hope the wind don't come blow it down. It's a whole spectrum of things. So it's and like I said, even though both parents are home, single parent at home, it's the individual still that has to make a decision about what he's going to do. It's like your decision. If you say, if me and you grew up in the same time, and I like to go to casinos, but you don't like to gamble, you made a choice. But I wanted to go out here and blow my money up. You wanted to save your money. It's on the individual.
How do we learn those choices though?
How do you learn your choices?
How do we learn what we like and don't like? Our parents.
No, it's your decision.
No, I can't agree.
Yes,
How about
it
this?
is.
Let's use real life example: the 9 to 5 jobs versus the entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur. You know why? Not
Yeah,
because I
tell me
get
why.
a 9 to 5 job, because my parent, my mom is the one who drove me to that.
Okay. Well, what would your mom wanted you to be an entrepreneur?
Yes, she wanted me to find success, but not in the rat race, not doing 9 to 5. She said there's no success.
Okay, but still, but even though that's what your mom wanted for you, it was your decision to do it. You could have said no,
No way.
and whatever she said, and whatever she said wouldn't have mattered.
The only reason that would have made me say no is if I had another influence, which be honest. At first, I was not agreeing with my mom. That's also because my grandma was that other influence who's saying, "Go get a job, go get a job, go get a job." My mom kept saying, "Don't get a job, don't get a job, don't get a job. Figure it out now while you're young, so you don't have to try to figure it out later when you're older."
Who figured it out?
I figured it out when I
Your
turned 8.
decision.
Oh, the
Your
decision.
decision.
It
Your
honestly,
decision.
it was honestly it was
Your
the biggest
decision.
influence on my life. The biggest
Your
influence on my
decision.
life. If I lived with my grandma
Your
right
decision.
now, if I lived with my
Your
grandma, I'd have had a 9 to 5
decision.
job.
Hold on, let him finish his point, Dad.
If I lived with my grandma, guarantee if I still lived in Cleveland with my grandma, I'd have a job right now, a 9 to 5 job. But because I stayed with my mom, now I'm an entrepreneur
Your decision.
and I chased my dreams. No, it's not, because
Yes.
remember,
Yes.
everyone has
Yes.
dreams, but you got to chase your dreams.
Yes. It's
And
your
if
decision.
you try to chase your dreams and it don't work out the first time, everyone quits, and then you have that one family member that would tell you either keep going, or you're gonna have that one family member who tells you just do this,
But
just go for the comfort.
listen to what you just said. If they're your dreams, you chase them. Your decision.
You didn't hear what I said? I'm gonna tell you that everybody on the planet has their own dreams, right? Everyone's gonna try to chase.
Who decides whether they follow their dreams or not?
Well, first of all, every human's gonna chase their own dreams. It's your own dream. But wait,
Answer my point. It's done.
You're
It's
not listening
done.
to what I'm catching on to. But how many people that you know hit their dreams first try? I've been trying to get famous for how many years now?
I don't know.
At the point I could dream 50,000 followers. I would think back before I had it, I was like, oh my God, even for me to have 1,000 followers was a lot.
Why are you still doing what you're doing?
Because I was pushed to keep going. That's what I'm trying to say. When I failed at becoming famous and being an entrepreneur, my mom kept pushing me to keep going. My grandma was the other person in the ear saying, just fall back, get a job, be comfortable, be stable. My mom was saying, you don't need to be stable right now. You're not even an adult yet. Keep going for your dreams.
Okay. So whose decision was it?
My mom's decision is the reason I kept going for my dreams.
No, it wasn't.
It depends what situation you're in. If you're with your grandma, I'm telling you, if I was with my grandma,
it wasn't your mother's decision. It was yours.
So you're saying for a fact, if I lived with my grandma right now, I would still do the same thing I'm doing right now.
You would have found a way to live your dream. You would have left your grandmama and came to where you will follow your dream because it's your decision.
My dream is TikTok fame and getting money from being famous online. That's all I wanted, is make money online.
Ain't that what you're trying to do?
That's what do you mean what I'm trying to do? That's already what I do. I mean, TikTok
Okay, it was your decision.
No,
Okay, wait.
hey,
I have a
mom put
question
that
for you,
in my head.
broski.
I'm listening.
What? Okay, so why do you feel a 9 to 5 isn't for you?
Because that's
Like,
I
what's
my
wrong?
mom
What's wrong
always
with
put
a
that in
nine
my
to
head.
five?
My mom has always put that in my head. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You get caught in the trap. A 9 to 5 is literally a trap because that paycheck at the end of the day, that paycheck at the end of the week, shut your brains off. You're not thinking creativity no more. You're automatically thinking, I got paid, I can spend my money. And I'm gonna use an example. My roommate is one of them. He works a 9 to 5. Honestly, to be successful, you need someone to sacrifice that 9 to 5 and someone to sacrifice that entrepreneur. But I'll tell you this for a fact: when I get money, I save it. Actually, I don't save it. I go rebuy more courses and learn more and more and more. When my roommate gets money, he goes spend it on food, drinks, fun, all this. Well, obviously the food and drinks part you need, but I'm saying he goes spend it on cool things that he want, a new desk, this. Not he don't try to go advance in his education. I spend my money wisely. I spend my money to learn high income skills. He spends his money for instant gratification. And that's the thing the 9 to 5 puts in your head: instant gratification.
So you're saying you can't do those things with a 9 to 5?
I think a
No,
drug dealer will disagree with you.
you said a drug dealer. A drug
Yeah.
dealer, first of all, is not a 9 to 5. Low key, that was one of
No,
the first
he's a
entrepreneurs they
drug
said.
dealer. Even though it's illegal, he'll be an entrepreneur.
A drug dealer is an entrepreneur in a way.
Yes, I'm saying he'll be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they wouldn't. I guarantee you they wouldn't tell you a 9 to 5 would be instant gratification because
Nine
that's
to
why they
five,
don't do it.
and well, 9 to 5 also don't pay well.
It can though.
Hmm.
Other than you forget. Listen. In order to get a good paying 9 to 5, you need to sacrifice like 6 to 10 years plus on education of hard work to f up your head just to get that good job that everyone was referring to as a 9 to 5 is a doctor or something to do in the medical industry.
Not just those, but I'm not gonna harp on that too long. And how long have you been at your getting internet famous?
How long have I been trying?
Yeah.
Woo! I think I've been
How
trying
many
maybe
years?
probably 14.
14 years. That's more than
Not 14
the
years.
doctor that you were just talking about.
No, I said I've been trying since 14.
Since 14,
Oh,
so you're
so
7 years. So about like you're about lawyer time, right? That's
Yeah.
lawyer amount of time. That's actually
That's
almost doctor amount of time.
that's from a kid.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
from a kid.
still. I mean, you put in the same amount of hours.
The same amount of work, okay, but you forget you have to still do that again. I'm talking about once. I'm talking about because remember I did this through a little bit through high school and stuff like that. This is
Okay.
you have to go through high school, get good grades, go to college, do that again. You have to do that for more years. You have to do that from like what age do people go to college at? Give me a regular age.
17 at the earliest. Well, if they didn't graduate early, 17 at the earliest.
Okay, so 17 at the earliest. So you're at least working from 17 to 25 just to become a doctor or a lawyer. And don't forget, not everyone can do that. And I honestly, what's a good high paying 9 to 5 job other than a doctor or a lawyer?
Engineers, architects, um,
A contract
anthropologists.
engineer?
You got
Are you talking about a contract engineer?
no, just any. Like there's program engineers. There's
Aeronautical
Work for a
engineer.
company?
technical. There's electrical engineers.
hmm
There's just engineers in general, right? So I mean, there are
Those
jobs like
they,
you're
they don't
talking about
pay.
sacrifice, right? Like
Yeah.
everything to be successful just takes sacrifice. The fact that you're going down the entrepreneurial route doesn't mean that the other side isn't sacrificing either.
Okay. Okay. How about this? Passive income. You can't do that working a 9 to 5.
Why
Why
not?
can't you?
How do you make passive income working 9 to 5? I want to know.
You make investments.
Okay, you make investment. We're talking about how to. I literally from nothing. Let's say same year, 1 year 9 to 5, 1 year entrepreneur. You will be way more successful the entrepreneur route with way less.
How can you prove that?
I about to say more
How about I have
entrepreneurs fail
different
more
streams of
than people who work
income
9 to 5s.
3 months
Like
now?
you even said, your grandma said it's more stable, right?
Yeah,
Like
but
you're risking
why
more
you're
as
not
an
supposed to be
entrepreneur.
stable? You're not supposed to be stable. You're supposed to go like yes, life is putting me up and down. It's a roller coaster. That's the fun part, getting to the top. But sitting there being stable in the safe zone, that's the most dangerous zone. That's the zone you're not trying to work more. I'm quoting like, these famous successful people like Elon Musk. He tells you the danger zone is the safe zone.
Elon Musk was born rich.
So do I really gotta go with people who was not born rich?
No, I'm just
Robert
saying
Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki. Boom. The guy who made Rich Dad Poor Dad.
okay. I mean, he was successful. If he didn't, because I actually read that book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that book actually tells you that it's more risky, right? Like especially like let's just say,
take risks.
No, you're not supposed to take risks. You choose to take risks.
Would you say you'd rather live would you rather live a 9 to 5 till you're like 65? Working every day, like I said, till you're like 65 to stay comfortable, to barely be able to live after you retire? Or would you rather take that risk when you're younger, hit them goals, and be able to live the life you want to live? Because I tell you,
but that's if you hit your goals.
You're going to. Only way you don't is if you stop and if you give up. It's not hard to make money in life. That's the thing. It's hard.
That's not true.
I would love to. How is it like literally? There's literally no way you can't make money online.
Yeah, but there's ways that you're not successful, like you're talking about, right? Because then you're slaving away hours and hours and hours, right? Like you're talking about like let's say like you're doing Twitch, right?
Yeah.
All the big Twitch streamers at first were streaming 12-hour days. That's more than 9 to 5, and it's not as stable when it comes to income.
And guess what? Now they get paid way more than anybody.
No, a lot of them don't. A lot of them can't afford to quit. Like you think they making all this money, but there's tons of them who can't afford to quit because this is their life now.
Well, see, that's something that you do for fun, and those are also, like I said, you still first make more money than a person in 9 to 5, and second, now after you make more money, now you need to know where you put your money. Now you gotta be smart with your money. Don't just spend it. Where you gonna put
you can be smart with your money working at McDonald's,
but you're not gonna get it to that success part fast at all working at McDonald's.
Success is subjective.
Yeah, and I'm saying you haven't made it there either. Like you like using real world examples. Like you're in year 7. Where's your mansion?
Hey, bro, I just hit fame. Like what? How many months ago?
I'm just saying, but it's been 7 years.
On that yet?
I'm saying you could have took those same 7 years and dedicated them to school, and you would have been better off right now.
I could have took those same 7 years and dedicated them to courses.
Well, that's still education, right? Like you could have. I'm just saying,
I started buying courses in January.
Oh, so you're just? I'm just saying, like you're. I'm just saying, like it's not like just because you're on a road don't mean you're going to get there, right? Things happen is what I'm trying to say. Like things happen.
It's like I'm gonna use my roommate for example. My roommate, I'm gonna be honest. When I first moved in with him, I was like making like so little money, like $400 a month when I first moved in with him, and he was charging me $200, so I only have $200 to play with. I hit that that fame part, and I start growing and growing and growing and grow my income.
Please don't say how much you make online on the episode.
You said what?
I said, please don't say how much you make on this episode.
I'm not saying how much I'm gonna, how
I'm
much I'm
just
making
saying. I'm
now.
just
I'm just
asking
saying,
you
like,
not to do it.
okay, all right, I was making really, really little.
And you just say you're making more now.
Yeah, and now I'm making more than my roommate
Okay.
in what 4 or 5 months. Now I'm bringing bigger paychecks than he is, almost two
Well,
times.
not no more. So what you call them just cut you off.
TikTok cut me off, so that's a little setback. But don't forget, I still sell merch and I run an e-com store.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess the better question is, since he was taking care of you, are you gonna take care of him?
Oh no, what you mean? He was
No.
taking. What was he taking care of me from?
Allowing you to live with him for $200, that's taking care of you.
His rent is really cheap.
It doesn't matter.
That's only half the. That's half the rent right there.
Yeah, but you couldn't afford to be there without him. So he was taking care of you.
That's true. That's true. And what if he ever needs anything? I always help him.
Okay. All right,
Now
that's fair enough.
I mean,
Um
we help each other always. I'm just saying that the entrepreneur route is the better route. You make more money in the long run, not the short run.
That's if you can make it.
yeah, that's
Only
if you make
don't
it.
make
Like cuz there's
exactly.
things that happen. Like what happens if, you know, not to wish anything bad on you, but you have a kid, right? Are you still going to take those same risks?
Oh, I'm making enough money. I could support a kid right
What'd you say?
now. But like I said, I can take care of a kid right now. I'm already prepared. Like I'm taken care of. So if my girlfriend were to have a kid, which she won't, but if she were, I'd be taken care of, and I'd still keep growing. I'm gonna still keep growing my income.
I'm saying
More
you're
and
going to still keep taking the risks even though you have a child that needs a steadier income.
yes,
You don't find that irresponsible?
not irresponsible for wanting
It's not
better,
irresponsible?
not for wanting better.
Okay.
Because
That's fair enough.
at that point, that's when you have the one person do the sacrifice. See, me and my girlfriend were a couple. If I'm growing my income, keep growing, then that's when she would go get a job, and she would keep the thing stable. Because remember, like I said, in order to hit that term success, we're gonna go with average success. You know, someone's got to sacrifice.
So you're willing, but these are your words. You're willing to put her in a masculine role while you take risks.
I'm willing to have her keep the house steady while I'm taking risks
But
because
just
in the
I'm
long
saying
run,
you
yes,
said that
yes,
was the masculine role. So you're willing to
yes.
force masculinity on your girl so you can take risks.
It's not forcing because me and my girlfriend, we're a team. We're a straight
Yeah,
team.
but no, you said she would have to sacrifice. Like have to is
I'm saying,
forcing.
I'm saying if we get to the point where my money gets too low, then of course she would. She wouldn't have no problem doing that.
I mean,
She would
okay.
literally, like, let's say we were living by ourselves and we had a kid. I'm pretty sure we would have no problem. She would sacrifice the 8 hours, the 9 to 5, because I'd rather her sacrifice 9 to 5 for even 2 to 3 years, maybe even let's say max of 5. I'm willing to have her sacrifice for 5 years so we can be free forever for the rest of the time. Then I work the 9 to 5 from 5 to 10 to 15 until our kids and our dog. It's teamwork. Teamwork makes the
Okay.
dream work.
Um. One more point. He had in a video. What was it? It was Oh man, we've been talking so long. I forgot the last point I wanted to touch. Yeah, and I'm not gonna rewatch it. Well, I think we've covered it. We covered enough. Anyway, so we're near the end. Are there any questions you guys have for each other or me, or any final thoughts?
I think we did a pretty good podcast.
I got one for you, villain.
What's up?
What do you think about the differences between uh Z and millennials currently?
The difference? That's a good question. I think the Z's are more polarizing than we are, like because we're kind of polarized, right? But I think it's more right because I do feel that they're regressing socially, right? Because we have for lack of a better term, since we've been using this, we've had a lot of snowflakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with Generation Z, um, we they are willing to give up. I'm saying it wrong. Like we had the choice to become snowflakes, right? Like it was a choice. Like if you're a snowflake or whatever, for lack of a better term, it was your choice, right? Now I
Mm-hmm.
see a lot, and I know it's anecdotal, but I'm seeing a lot of people feel that they have to play that so-called snowflake role, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like they've lost the choice. Like they're not making choices. They're more of a hive mind than we were. Because as millennials, there were a bunch of different groups of us,
Mm-hmm.
and with Generation Z, it is basically three groups, right? And you have to fit in those. And all those three groups have the same exact mindset. They're parroting each other at all times. And like I don't think that's so socially. I think they're regressing. Like they're segregating themselves willingly, right? And that's never good because they're easy to conquer that way. Um, so I think that's the difference. Other than that, we're about the same, except for that. Like instead of making the choice to be different, they're forcing themselves to. They're trying to fit one of the teams, right? And they're eating each other alive, right? Like you can't even be a part of a team and have your own opinion, or else the team eats you right now. Like you've seen it, they're eating each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think they're losing choice, right? And they're becoming more divided than we were. Because we had we had similar issues. It's just yeah, like I said, they're segregating themselves willingly, and I think that's destructive. Um, that's today. That's my feelings on that. Anybody else have a question for me, or does anybody have anything to add or disagree with what I just said?
I can
No, I agree with everything you just said.
Okay.
I can agree with
Um.
that.
Well, all right.
I don't
I
know
guess
enough
we'll do
about
our.
disagree or agree.
You said you don't disagree or agree.
I said I don't know enough about Gen X to disagree or agree.
Oh, it's Gen Z. Gen X
Gen
was the
Z,
ones
yeah.
before us. Yeah. Um.
I don't know enough about them.
Okay. Well.
We're soft. We're very soft. No homo.
Well, I mean, like I don't even think like being soft is a problem. Like you can be soft if you want to, right? But it's the fact that the people that are soft are demanding that everybody be like them, right? Like there's, you know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to be a tough person, like especially from our generation, you didn't have to be, right? Like society is that easy, or you don't have to be. But the fact that that soft person wants like a tougher person to stop making them feel bad about them being soft and change is the issue. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll give you guys y'all outros. Thank you, Toxic Broski, for having this discussion with us today.
No problem, man. Anytime.
All right, let me play a song right quick.
For my broski. For my broski. Yeah.
All right, we got Clem. You got any final thoughts?
Yeah, I got just one thing. If
All
you
right.
got this one, like, comment, and subscribe. If you got any questions or you want to help us along, the panel you want something to review, go ahead and hit at villain by default.
Yeah, or
And
you can hit up my dad directly at IG on IG at Smoke2110. Oh, and also you can hit up Kari on oh, you're not on TikTok anymore though.
Toxic 69 on Instagram.
I say that again.
Toxic Broski 69 on Instagram.
Yeah, or you can hit up him at
Toxic Broski 69 on TikTok.
yeah, Toxic Broski 69 on Instagram. All right, Face.
No, I don't got anything else to add, man. I'm happy y'all. If y'all made it this far, thanks for watching, and see us on the next video.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, this has been your generational gap. Thank you for joining.